we're rolling.
Hello.
Hello. Long time no see.
Yes.
Except not at all.
Yeah, but kind of. We were gone last week.
Yeah.
Holidays.
Well,
and
I meant
stuff.
like you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just saw you 24 hours ago.
Yes. That's very true. We had a Christmas party. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was super fun.
At Audrey's house, our number one fan.
Yes. Our absolute number one A1 since day one fan. Whether she likes it or not.
Yeah, right. Oh
boy.
Well.
If you didn't know what you're listening to, this is Hot for Justice.
Yes, and I'm Jessica.
And that's Jessica.
AKA super tired person. And that's Jamie.
Yes. I'm also tired, but not nearly as tired as you.
It's just a different kind of tired.
Yeah, I have fantasy football exhaustion right now.
Oh, yeah. I have husband exhaustion and baby exhaustion. I'm just kidding. Just baby exhaustion.
I say it's okay if you're not kidding about Tad.
Tad. Our
anyways.
second fan. Our number 2 fan.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess let's just dive in, guys, because mine's long.
Yes, and you're going first.
Yeah, I'm first. What? Okay, so mine is not cold, but it actually it could have like a cold element to it. So
tell me more.
I'm just gonna dive in the deep end.
Dope.
So November 1973. Carol Jenkins, who was 18, she worked at the United Market in Victor, California, which is a very, very small town, basically in Lodi, California, which is about 40 minutes south of Sacramento.
Okay.
And so the store was owned by a Walter Parkin, he was 33. Carol lived with the Parkins. She said she came home around 3 a.m. and she went straight to sleep. She was awakened at 7 a.m. by two men who was looking for her boyfriend, Mr. Lang. And he hadn't returned home from the night before. So her boyfriend didn't live there, but I'm not really sure. I guess they knew, they were together. So these men were looking for her boyfriend, came to her. So she took them into the master bedroom where she actually found Walters, the store owner, his two children, Lisa, who was 11, and Robert, 9, bound and shot in the head.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So then she called the fire department, and when they arrived, they found 7 more bodies. Yeah.
What?
In the walk-in closet, all bound, gagged, and shot in the head. The other bodies were Walter, who was the store owner, his wife Joanne, she was 31, their babysitter Debbie, who was 18, and so actually I'm totally wrong about the boyfriend situation. The boyfriend was Debbie, the babysitter's boyfriend. So
got it. So it wasn't the other chicks.
Yeah, it wasn't the other chicks, but
okay. I already forgot her name, so I'm batting 1,000.
Carol.
Okay, great.
Yes. So the babysitter, Debbie, her parents, Richard and Wanda, her younger brother, Ricky, who was 15, and her boyfriend, Mark, who was 20.
Damn.
So, yeah, it's pretty terrible. The investigators believed that the Earl family was likely picking up their daughter, Debbie, the babysitter, because it's kind of random that her parents are there, right? And they didn't live there.
Yeah, I was like, why were they there in the first place?
Yeah. So they believed that the family was picking up their daughter, and the killers came and interrupted them and ended up shooting all of these people. They believed that it was actually connected to a burglary of the safe at the market that Mr. Parkin owned.
Okay,
so
they're
not
nearby each other, or?
Yeah, they think they lived out in the country a little bit, but it didn't really specify. So, and the articles are all super old, and they were digitized, so it was kind of hard to find.
Oh God.
So eventually they arrested 2 men for the crime, and they didn't really go into detail how they identified that these people murdered them. Mm-hmm. So the first man, Douglas Gretzler, was 22. He was from New York City. He was apprehended. And then Willie Stillman, who was 28, he was from Lodi. He surrendered, but they both were charged for the crimes, for those murders. And they actually were convicted of a total of 17 murders, including these 9 people. And they were like basically within a 2-month span. So they went on like a mass killing spree.
I don't know if I'm like jumping the gun or not, but like the other 8 people?
Yeah, I'm going to go into detail
great.
like a little bit.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, they actually like, I think they started in Arizona and they made their way to Colorado. They were like traveling and robbing people. They ended up in Phoenix, Arizona, where they met up with some of Stillman's friends, and they kidnapped their friends, stole their van, took them to California, in Lodi, where they strangled and stabbed them and then hid their bodies.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Right. And then...
Like, hold on. I feel like that's like a lot of work.
Right. I don't know if they were like on drugs or what, because their behavior is just insane.
Yeah, like that's bonkers, dude.
Yeah. So these friends that they had kidnapped, they were actually introduced to them by another set of friends. And they were paranoid that those friends would be like, oh, our friends are missing. And then,
like, do you know anything?
Yeah. And so they drove back to Arizona from California. They actually picked up a hitchhiker on their way, killed him, and dumped him in the Superstition Mountains. It didn't even say why, but probably to rob him if he had any money. Oh my God. And then they met up with their friends in Arizona, strangled them, and like killed them. Yeah. On a rampage, okay. So then they were trying to hitchhike, and they killed the man who stopped to give them a ride. And then they carjacked a guy who actually had managed to escape, and he called the police. So they were kind of on the run. Right. So they drove to a condo complex where they found a man washing his car, and they took him hostage. They forced him into his condo where his wife was. They dyed their hair, changed into the victim's clothes, and then shot them both. And yeah, left them. They stole their credit cards and cars, and then they returned to Lodi.
Oh my God.
Right.
How many cars did they end up stealing? I lost count.
I know. A few. So, this is at the point, like, they return to Lodi, and then they commit these murders, these 9 murders.
So the family murders were after the friends?
Yes.
Okay. So this is, like, the end of their crime
Their
spree.
rampage, yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. So, Gretzler, he ended up pleading guilty in California to 9 counts of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 9 concurrent life terms because California at the time didn't have the death penalty. Which is
interesting. This was 1974?
3.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but then he was extradited to Arizona to stand trial for the murders of
their friends.
Couple. No, the couple that they shot.
Oh, got it. The people that they stole the car from. Yeah.
Yes. So, and Arizona did have the death penalty. He was tried for those murders and attempted kidnapping, and then robbery of the other guy who he stole, like he carjacked.
Yeah. But didn't kill.
Didn't kill, just carjacked. He was convicted and he was sentenced to death. The other guy, Steelman, was also sentenced to death, but he died on death row before he could be executed. It didn't say high, but I think probably like natural causes.
Right.
Yeah. Then Gretzler was executed in June 1998. His last words were, "From the bottom of my soul, I am so deeply sorry and have been for years for murdering Patricia and Michael Sandberg," which is the couple. "Though I'm being executed for that crime, I apologize to all 17 victims and their families."
Wow.
Yes. So that was all from like a New York Times article with no author, and then another ABC article by Joe Ania, who like wrote about it when he was executed. But it's just like a lot. And so since they were traveling so much, it's completely possible that they had more victims.
Oh, I think it's probably likely.
Oh yeah, because they were just doing whatever. They were doing the most.
They were doing the most.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's mine.
Wow.
I know.
So close to home for you. So.
I'd never even heard of it, so I was like, really? But it's kind of hard to find, like, a lot of information about. Everything's kind of patchy. I think probably because it was, in the Stone Ages when it happened.
The Stone Ages.
Just
I'm telling
kidding.
your mom you said that.
She listens, so I'm sure she'll text me.
Perfect. My mom will listen to this in like 3 months and then talk about it.
Yes,
She's
that's
a little
okay, Jen.
behind.
We forgive you.
I mean, that makes one of us.
All
guess
right,
I'll
what do
allow
you
it.
got for me?
Okay, so mine's kind of wild. I found this on Reddit, written by a user by the name Old Man of the North.
All right, old man.
He posted this a couple weeks back. I originally was looking this up during like the Thanksgiving week,
Uh-huh.
and then opted to do the other one instead.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is super weird, and there's a few like potential like theories on like what happened, but like nobody really knows how this person died.
I'm intrigued.
Yes, it's very interesting. So this happened in Antarctica.
Oh,
Yeah, like very
Okay.
near the South Pole. And fun fact, apparently only like 1,000 to 4,000 people live in Antarctica at a time. Like at any given moment.
I didn't
There's
even
not a
know
lot of-
anybody lived
Yeah.
in Antarctica at the time. At any
Neither
time.
did I. The more you know.
Isn't it too cold?
You'd think. But I guess they got their parkas. Oh my
Oh.
goodness. I'm going to throw up. Your baby is so cute.
Thank
We're
you.
FaceTiming right now, and for those of you who can't see,
Yeah, right.
yeah, which I guess is all of you.
Maybe one day we'll record this and like put it on YouTube.
I'll definitely need to put on like 5 pounds of makeup, but sure.
Same. Oh my gosh. Anyways,
So yeah,
Antarctica.
there's only a few settlements that are there. I guess they've only been around for like probably like 100 years or so. And yeah, only 1,000 to 4,000 people at any time.
I would die. Like literally would curl up in a ball and die.
Like literally when it was like 50 degrees last week, I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, it's too cold for that.
And like I like my 75-degree weather. Like I'm super into that.
Same. That's
Can't-
why we live in California.
Yes, and not the South Pole.
No, right?
Okay. So, and a little bit more background about crime in Antarctica, because again, like you don't even think people live there.
Right.
Like, what's going on there?
Right.
So, serious crime in Antarctica is very rare. In the last century, there's only been a handful of incidents that are even being warranted and mentioned, like in any sort of like documentation.
Interesting.
Most crimes are committed are related to mistreatment of wildlife, threats made against others, and alcohol-related offenses. Attempted murder is very rare, and murder hasn't even been recorded as having ever happened in Antarctica.
Dang.
Yeah. Sexual harassment and arson are known to happen throughout, but it's believed that many instances go unreported.
Isn't it too cold to set things on fire?
You'd think. That's the episode title. Anyways. So, any crimes committed are subject to the laws of the country that holds jurisdiction over the location the crime was committed. For example, any crimes committed in the U.S. Facilities are subject to FBI investigation and prosecution. So, the settlements are from other countries.
Yeah.
So, there's like an American bit, there's like an Australian, New Zealand bit, and then, Europe and etc.
Makes sense.
So in 1959, what's argued to have been the first murder in Antarctica occurred at a Russian station called Vostok. 2 scientists got into an argument about a chess game, and one attacked the other with an ice axe. Some reports at the time had claimed that it had been a fatal injury, but since then it's believed that, though not proven, that the scientists didn't die of their injuries. Since its incident, chess has been banned in all Russian bases in Antarctica. I thought that was very funny. So I wanted to include that. There's another serious incident that occurred in 1996 at McMurdo Station when 2 cooks got into an argument. Not about a chess game, don't worry. A hammer was used by one in the fight that ensued, and when another cook tried to intervene, he was also injured. 2 FBI agents were dispatched to the station, and the suspect was arrested and brought back to Hawaii for trial. While it is known that he pleaded not guilty, it is not known what became of him, as further information was never made public in relation to his case. I know, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
There's been several cases of arson that required external investigators at both Russian and American bases over the years, but none of the cases have ever resulted in loss of life or severe sentences for the accused.
Dang.
So now, what I'm here to talk about, like for real, is the case of Rodney Marks. He was born in Victoria, Australia in 1968. He went to study in the University of Melbourne and studied for his PhD at the University of South Wales.
Dang.
Right? Like super smart.
That's cool.
Mark had spent the winter of 1997 and 1998 at the South Pole and had been hired by the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory. That was a mouthful. I didn't think I was going to be able to say that.
You crushed that.
Thank you. In his work for them, he was assigned to Antarctica Submillimeter Telescope and Remote Observatory, this being run out of the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station. I also probably mispronounced that very badly, but...
It sounded right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, I just need you to, like, follow me all around all the time and just hype me up.
Same.
Perfect.
Yep.
Let's just quit our jobs and
okay.
follow each other around.
So I'm fine with that.
Perfect. We just need either some sugar daddies or to win the lottery.
Yeah. Probably win the lottery because, you know, men.
I guess that's fair. I was having a conversation with my office mate on Friday, and we were talking about how we desperately need sugar daddies.
Yeah, same.
Or sugar mamas. Whatever.
Yeah.
But,
either
it's probably not going to happen.
No.
But, I mean, if you're out there and you're listening, and you would like to be our sugar person, hit us up.
I will give you my friendship.
Yeah.
And you can give me your money.
Yeah. We'll link our PayPals down below. I'm just kidding.
Venmo me here.
We'll leave the QR code in the show notes.
Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, it's really sweet of you. Thanks in advance.
Help me, I'm poor.
That's my favorite gif.
I know.
So good. Okay. Boopity boop boop boop. While he was working at the station, he joined the bass band Fanny Pack and the Big Nancy Boys and became engaged to Sonia Wolter, a maintenance specialist at the base who was over there in order to spend time with him. So she had, like, stayed there to live with him. She was, like, supposed to go back to her home country, but
interesting.
fell in love.
Oh.
Yeah. He was described by those that knew him during this time in Antarctica. I don't know why that word's so hard for me to say.
Antarctica.
He was described by those that knew him during the time in Antarctica as having a dry wit that could sometimes be misinterpreted, but always made amends and won people over in the end. On the 11th of May of 2000, Rodney was walking home from the remote observatory back to the base when he became ill. His symptoms were described as follows. At the moment, he began to feel unwell as he walked back to the base on the 11th. He described how he began struggling to breathe. His vision began to deteriorate and he felt exhausted, which prompted him to go to sleep early in hopes of sleeping off whatever was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
At 5:30 a.m. the next day, he woke up vomiting blood and sought out the station's doctor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Over the course of the day, he repeated this visit, and each time his symptoms worsened. He had trouble moving due to pains in his muscles and joints, and soon required sunglasses to see, despite the only light being the low wattage bulbs at the base. It was during this time that the doctor had suggested he might be suffering from an anxiety attack. That's a really fucking intense anxiety attack.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm not really buying that.
I'm not
TBH,
either.
But
not at all.
I digress.
But okay, I'm not a doctor.
Neither am I. So finally on his third visit, Mark was now hyperventilating in panic over his condition, and he was given an antipsychotic by injection from the doctor. Within 45 minutes, he went into cardiac arrest and died a short while after. The death was
Sounds
reported...
like he was poisoned.
I will get into that.
Okay.
There's some theories. The death was reported as likely being of natural causes, but the National Science Foundation stressed that until a proper autopsy could be performed, they'd be unable to know for sure. His body had been kept frozen in storage for the winter months until it could be returned to a base in Christchurch, New Zealand for an autopsy. First of all, how fucking insane is that? Like, you have to, like, keep it on ice just because, like, you can't ship him out.
Right.
Like, for months.
Also, like, isn't it... I need to Google what the average temperature of Antarctica is, because, like, literally you could just probably, like, leave him outside and he would freeze, you know?
Oh my god. Look it up. I'll keep going.
Okay.
Oh god, that was a great mental image. A post-mortem on the mainland quickly established the cause of death as being methanol poisoning. The coroner stated that he had consumed an estimated 150 milliliters of methanol, or the approximate amount that would fit in a wine glass. An investigation was undertaken with both Australian and United States agreeing to the inquest into the death being held in New Zealand. Detective Senior Sergeant Grant Wormald, was directed to begin an investigation, but since then has stated that the company that owned the observatory, Raytheon, sure, and the National Science Foundation hadn't cooperated with his investigation. He cast doubts on the National Science Foundation. They claimed that the death had been by natural causes and that they had withheld, Jesus Christ, dude, their own internal reports, if any existed, related to the case. He also revealed that the Science Foundation and the company that owned the observatory wouldn't disclose a list of personnel that were there at the time of the incident, making it impossible to seek interviews with them and or get a suspect list.
Shady.
Super shady.
Okay, can I interrupt you?
100%.
The average annual temperature in Antarctica ranges from around negative 10 degrees Celsius on the Antarctic coast to negative 60 degrees Celsius at the highest parts of the interior.
What's that in Fahrenheit? I don't know what that means.
What's negative 10 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? It's cold. It's 14 degrees and...
Like positive 14?
Positive 14.
Okay.
And negative 60 degrees Celsius is negative 76 degrees.
Holy fuck. That's
Fahrenheit.
code.
According to Google.
And Google's never wrong.
No, never. The internet's never given you wrong information.
Not one time. Actually, that reminds me. So earlier today, Brandon was over and we were watching football. And he told me that he's gotten, like, severely into Catfish on MTV.
Oh my gosh.
Like, disgustingly obsessed.
I used to watch that.
I've seen a few episodes, and I think the whole thing's fucking wild. But we were having a full-on conversation about that today. But so, anyways, you're wrong. The internet does lie sometimes.
Oh, dang.
But it's mostly just weirdos.
Yes.
Mostly. And
Yeah,
also probably the government.
That show is wild. The government.
Neither here nor there.
I also wanted to point out, I Googled methanol, and one of the questions people have asked,
right.
Google.
The suggested things.
One of the questions is, can I drink methanol?
I'm going to get into that too.
Okay. I just find that really, like, a dumb question, but I don't know. Is it?
You'll find out how dumb it is in a few moments.
Okay. Hit me.
I'll enlighten you.
Hit me with it.
Okay, great. So the United States Department of Justice also revealed that they had been unsuccessful in investigating the matter and that they had been denied jurisdiction by both Raytheon and the National Science Foundation. The NSF finally dispatched a questionnaire that they had vetted to the 49 people believed to have been on base at the time, but included it with a note saying that participation was not mandatory, so only 13 were sent back and passed on to the investigators. AKA the shady people were like, hell nah, I'm not filling that out.
Deuces.
Exactly. So, in 2006, so 6 years after this happens, the coroner's court reconvened for hearings, and during this time, it was revealed that the investigation that Rodney Marks had suffered with Tourette's syndrome, although with any bearing of this, like, it's unclear if that has anything to do with his death.
Okay.
But apparently, like, nobody knew he had Tourette's. DSS Wormald stated that he had doubted Marks had consumed any methanol knowingly, as there was a large supply of drinkable alcohol on base, and that he would have been likely to smell methanol if it had been given to him to drink as a prank or a trick. So methanol, I'm pretty sure it goes into it later, but it's like a very, very strong type of, like, chemical alcohol. Later on, like, it describes, like, how much you can, like, thin it out to make it quote unquote drinkable.
Yeah, but probably shouldn't.
Probably definitely not.
Yeah, probably definitely probably not.
I mean, like, I wouldn't.
No. Oh, wow. It says its principal uses are, like, one of them is antifreeze. And we would not drink antifreeze.
Unless you're trying to kill someone.
Right. Let's not do that, people. Anyways, continue.
The volume of methanol that would have been consumed by Marks was also concerning. The base had a large supply of disinfectant for use as cleaning scientific equipment, and it was well known that even a few drops could be fatal. If he had consumed over wine glasses a quantity of the liquid, everyone was at a loss for how he could even do that.
Yeah.
In conclusion, the detective states that he did not believe that Marks had knowingly or willingly consumed any methanol, but couldn't elaborate further on how it may have entered his system. The coroner's court then indefinitely adjourned, with Marks's father saying that he wanted to thank the New Zealand police for having to deal with people who obviously didn't want to deal with them. In 2008, the report was finally released to the public, and it concluded that foul play, suicide, a prank, or accident could not be supported by evidence, and therefore there was no verdict reached as to what caused the death of Rodney Marks.
Wow.
It was suggested, however, that the serious guidelines needed to be put in place to ensure that timely and open investigations into future serious incidents in Antarctica. However, this has never been done.
I mean, because they're so rare, but still.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's probably very low on the to-do list.
Yeah.
Like, understandably so. Unfortunately, but...
Wow.
Okay, so now here's some theories of what could have happened and could have resulted in the methanol poisoning. The first one is suicidal madness or homesickness. Some have suggested that Rodney Marks, while having a perfectly normal life with seemingly few problems, could have been a victim of the isolation and desolation of Antarctica itself. Quite a few crimes committed on the continent are blamed on people going stir-crazy during the long, dark winters or being unable to deal with the lonely isolation for long periods of time. It has been theorized that Marks may have consumed the methanol to either kill himself during a severe depression episode or in order to get sick enough to be sent home. Arguments against this are the already long periods he had spent there without incident, and of course the many easier ways to fake an injury or an illness to be sent home.
Yeah. Like break your leg or something.
Right? Like go outside without a coat on. I don't know.
Get some mild hypothermia. Lose a toe. You'll be fine.
Yeah, just not the big one.
Not the big. You need that for balance.
Yes. So now here's a little bit more about the methanol abuse. So while extremely dangerous, methanol has been abused as a drinking alcohol in its diluted form in order to experience a high, and this can have a cumulative effect whereby brain damage and organ damage can take much longer to occur. So basically it's saying that it's possible that he's been like drinking methanol for a long time that's very diluted, and over time caused all the organ damage that eventually led to his death.
But like if they had regular alcohol on base, then it doesn't really make sense.
Right, but it also, like I said, with the addition of like feeling drunk, you also like get like a head high, basically.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it, kids.
Yeah, don't do it.
The coroner in the case of Rodney Marks didn't observe the telltale signs of long-term abuse of methanol, but due to the damage observed in the autopsy, it's possible that evidence of long-term abuse was missed. So possible, but like again, like not super duper likely, but more likely than him trying to kill himself.
Yeah.
The moonshine theory. Methanol is used to adulterate moonshine in many cases, and this has often led to sicknesses and deaths from poisoning due to using the wrong amounts. In the case of Rodney Marks, it's never been investigated if a moonshine still was being operated on the base at the time of his death, or if anyone else ever experienced symptoms that might have been linked to one being present. It's unlikely that one ever existed, however, because alcohol was already ready on base.
Yeah.
So there's no need to make moonshine.
Right.
The murder theory. In regards to Rodney Marks' last hours alive, the detective was adamant that he hadn't known what was happening to him. It was his opinion that Marks ingested the methanol knowingly, and he would have told the doctor when his symptoms had worsened, which makes sense.
Right.
The fact that he had been as confused as everyone else left only one conclusion to the detective, that Marks had to have been dosed by somebody else, and that the volume involved in the poisoning leaving only murder as a likely reason.
Yeah.
Because of the lack of cooperation by the companies and many individuals involved, no one was ever able to come up with any suspects or even a motive for murdering Rodney, but it remains the most popular opinion among theorists.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
And it gets a little weirder.
Okay.
So now the inhalation theory. Hydrogenation of carbon monoxide is the primary method by which industrial methanol is produced today. It does occur naturally through various types of plankton and bacteria, as well as being created by some algae blooms and being able to last in a vapor in the air for several days before being dispersed to a safe level. Some have wondered if some sort of release of methanol vapor from beneath the ice of Antarctica could have somehow exposed him to its effects without his knowledge. However, this is unlikely due to the distinct smell it would have been giving off if it was in such a concentrated state in the air.
And it probably would have affected other people too.
Exactly.
Not
and
just him.
That's like what the next sentence says.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you should write this.
I'm like so smart.
Hashtag genius. And lastly, the doctor theory. The doctor at the Edmondson Scott base at the time was Dr. Robert Thompson, and in the years after Rodney Mark's death, the manner in which he had cared for him in his final hours has come under scrutiny. Another doctor named William Silva, who had worked at a base nearby, told coroners that he had reviewed Dr. Thompson's notes and felt that they had fallen short of what he could have done for Marks. For instance, Dr. Thompson had an ectochem blood analysis machine at his disposal that might have been able to identify his condition before he died, but this was never used, according to Dr. Thompson, because its battery had run out, and once it was changed, it would take 8 to 10 hours to recalibrate for use.
Dang.
Yeah. Like, why are you letting your shit die, dude?
Right.
Like, that just kind of seems like not being a good doctor.
No, it's negligent.
In general. That's the word I was looking for. I was gonna...
that one.
I was gonna say malpractice, but I knew that was wrong.
But, I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah. At the coroner's inquest, Thompson said that he was too busy caring for Marks to consider using the machine at the time, and he had found it too complicated to use. And this is something that Dr. Silva had disputed, saying that the machine was straightforward and simple to operate.
Okay.
Again, how do you not know how to use your shit?
Right.
Whatever.
Bruh. Okay.
Another thing that was called into question was Dr. Thompson's use of an antipsychotic, which seemed to trigger the final cardiac arrest that killed Rodney Marks.
Yeah.
At the inquest, he had defended it as necessary due to the panic state that Marks was in that was making it impossible for him to treat.
Maybe he was panicked because he was dying?
What? Weird.
Whoa.
Other doctors have called into question the administration of anything with tranquilizing effects to a patient that hasn't yet been diagnosed and is exhibiting serious symptoms of liver failure already.
Mm-hmm.
Before the inquest could be completed, Dr. Thompson disappeared and has not been in contact with any media outlet or any authorities linked to the case since 2006.
Whoa.
Uh-huh. Some have pointed this to a suggestion of his involvement in what had happened to Rodney Marks, and has even suggested his disappearance from public life is linked to a wider conspiracy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
But yeah, nobody's heard from him since.
Did anyone have any motive to kill Rodney?
Nope. There's no reason or motive for Rodney Mark's death. Nothing's ever been revealed, and in the years since, his family has made it clear that they don't intend to push any further for answers.
Weird.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. There's nothing else. Like, I even checked my favorite website ever, Wikipedia. Oh, Wikipedia did tell me that there are a couple of memorials at the South Pole for him.
Ah.
There was a mountain that was named after him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Mark's Mountain or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a memorial at the actual like South Pole.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. First man murdered in Antarctica.
Probably.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure absolutely nobody that listens to this has any connection to this, but
right.
If you know this doctor that just disappeared off the face of the earth, or
if you're familiar with Antarctica, hit us up. I'm just kidding. Not really.
Yeah, if you know anything else other than it's fucking cold.
Right. Oh my gosh.
All right, what do you have that's fun and fresh to share with the class?
So I started watching a show last weekend called Why Women Kill. It's on CBS All Access, and it is so good.
I want to say it's either on Amazon Prime or Hulu also.
I don't think so, because it's a CBS All Access like original.
Oh, maybe not. Then.
It's so good. You can sign up for CBS All Access for like a month for free. At least I did, and it might have been like a Black Friday thing, but you can usually get like a week free or something. But it is so good.
Wild. I'll have to give that a go.
I recommend it. Like it's kind of like funny, and it's not all about. It's just really interesting. I liked it.
I'll have to give that a go.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, give it a go.
Is it anything like that? I tried to watch it on Netflix, but honestly I could not. Like that, like inside women's prisons or
no. It's not like a. It's not like.
It's not like an interview show.
No, it's. Have you ever seen Desperate Housewives?
No, I've not.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
It's like it's fictional, and
Oh, okay.
it takes place like there's three main main women characters.
Mm-hmm.
They all live in the same house, but in different times. So the first girl lives there like 1963. The next person lives there like 1983, and then like the next one is like current 2019.
And like follows all their shit.
Yeah, and like it's just so good.
I'll have to give that a go.
Yeah.
Is it like the whole like season out?
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
great.
8 episodes, I think 8 or 10 or something like that. But I like binged it in like 3 days.
I was say I want to make sure that I get my like free trials worth.
Yeah. I'm like in between shows, so I was like, I'll just give it a try. And then I turned it on, and I was kind of like, but then I like 5 minutes in, I was hooked. And it has Lucy Liu in it, you know, the girl from Charlie's Angels, and she's so good.
I love her.
I love her too. So she makes it completely worth it.
I'm like 1 episode away from being done with Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah, and then I just started listening to the audiobook too, because I think I mentioned this on the show before, that I accidentally downloaded it like a while back.
Yeah.
Because the book used to have a different title.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't download this book. Like, what's this Unbelievable thing? And then I realized that they changed the title once the Netflix show came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very good. So definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
And I need to finish the last episode. But I've been kind of like not wanting to.
I know, because it's good. I know. I do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna do a screen recap of the Jinx.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I watched the Jinx finally.
Yeah, we'll probably have that out next week.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, but it's so good. I can't wait to talk about it.
I know. Literally, like when I was like texting you about it, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Seriously, I watched it, and then my friend Chelsea was like, we watched it together, and then we were talking to us about it, and we made him watch it, and we both rewatched it with him.
Oh my god, so you've seen it 3 times?
I've seen it twice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so good.
I know. Like, so I watched it when I was homesick with the stomach flu this last week.
Yeah.
And I watched it. So I watched the like first 2 episodes, and then I fell asleep because I was like on cold medicine.
Yeah.
And then woke up to the last episode. Like I was like halfway through it. It's like I restarted the last episode and watched the whole thing, and then I was like, holy fucking shit.
It's so good.
And then I went back and watched like the middle 2.
They actually made a movie with Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst in it, and Ryan Gosling plays him. I started it, but I fell asleep actually, and I never.
You pulled a Zach?
Yeah, I definitely pulled a Zach.
Did you hear him?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I never picked it back up because I already know the ending, but
do you know what it's called?
Oh gosh, no, I don't remember.
Okay, I'll look it up later and maybe I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I can't say it's good because I fell asleep, but I've heard it was good. Creepy, it's creepy.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah.
All right, dope. Well, anyways, on that note, leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this.
Do it so we can do a giveaway.
Yeah. And then, let us know what you think, and we'll catch you next week.
All right. Adios.
All right, later. Bye.
Bye.